All right, if you go back to my first video, you'll see I was a few feet away from the phone and you couldn't even hear me, okay? So I realized that I had to get some microphones. Now I have earbuds, but they wouldn't work with my camera. I have an iPhone 10 because the Bluetooth introduces a delay so the lips aren't synced, okay? So I had to get a little bit of software, so that's what I did. And so now I have them in, but the sound quality was awful, all right? So last time I only had one. This time I have them in both ears. I'm curious to see, is the sound quality any better? We're going to find out. All right, so what I want to show you today is I got some meters, and I would recommend doing this right at the beginning. I wouldn't wait with the finger. Maybe if you have a lawn that's nice and even, you can do it. But otherwise, I would get these, all right? And also, I got separate meters because, in my experience, you have a better probe when it's a specialized meter than when it does 5 different things, okay? So I got one for moisture and one for alkaline. pH-wise, things look good. Everything's around 6.5. I have a little soil acidifier if I want to change that, but I think it looks good. And the moisture really helps because it might be, moist at the top, but dry a couple inches down. Now I can tell, all right? I'm into psychological measurement. I wish we had instruments like this. It's fantastic. So this is really helping me keep things a lot more evenly moist, and I'll show you. All right, I'll tell you, I have a much better idea of what's going on in this pit thanks to the meter. Here I'm just going to show you a little something. Here I am by the geranium, and look at that. It looks good. I watered yesterday, and we're down about 5 inches or so we're okay there. Now I'm just going to move it over slightly. Let me pause. And here we are at the hellebore, just a couple inches away. Look at that. It's kind of dry. Now some of this is fairly obvious because I've noticed the front tends to be drier, and I could just see that anyway. I already knew this corner was kind of moist. And the back, it's marginal. It tends to be moist at the top and not as moist further down. So that's why the meter is good. I was able to pick that up. And by the way, with my watering here, I actually also decided to water from the outside here because look, you can get down a few inches, all right? So I can get a little bit more deep watering. And I did that yesterday, and I checked today, and today down even about 6 inches, it's moist. So I think we're good. All right, as I said, it's August and it's really hot, so I'm not gonna do any planting. Later I am gonna do in the fall. I'm gonna put a tiarella here, a foam flower. I think that might be good. Give that a shot. And that's really just about it, okay? That spot is where the impatiens was. It got green, but it never bloomed. And that's because there's basically no light in that spot. Look, this is interesting. You can see this. Here's the tree. I've been out here early, and in the morning it'll come in this way. You can see this is kind of leaning over that way to get the light, right? You could really, and then in the after, but you don't get it here. That's what I'm trying to say. It's coming in here, but you don't get it here. And then as the sun goes around behind the tree, it'll actually come in here. And that's why you look, it comes in at an angle, and these also get some light. But again, that spot gets almost no light. So I'm gonna try the foam flower and see what that does, all right? I just wanted to comment that with the geranium, you can actually see it reaching for the light over here. And look, over here, it gets a little bit over there too, which is really amazing. All right, so everything else looks like it's doing pretty good, it still be, and let's see how it goes. We're gonna wait until the fall, and then we'll do some more planting. All right, so I like to end with a little update of how everything's doing. All right, it's beginning of August now, first week of August. There's the lungwort. I think the lungwort is doing pretty good, even though I'll tell you, you gotta water it almost every day. Otherwise it tends to get a little wilted, all right? Here's the wild toad, which, I'm sorry, the wild toad. The toad lily, which I think is doing pretty good, on this side at least. There's now I was calling it Euchera, but I've been watching gardening shows, and it's actually Euchera. So it's Euchera citronelle, all right, and it's doing fantastic. I'll tell you, that's one of the original survivors here. It's been here 2 months now, and look at that. I don't see anything wrong with it, okay? Here's the astilbe, all right, it's a little browning, but apart from that, it's okay. There's the begonia, that's only temporary. Now the hellebore has been doing great. Look at that. It's got a new one coming up. It does have a brown leaf, but apart from that, it looks okay. The epimedium, look at that. That's from the quart pot. I'm going to replace these. These have really had problems, and I damaged them. I think I vastly underwatered them as well. All right. I'm a little worried, so I'm going to replace these two with a quart pot. I'm a little worried about this one because look, it's got all these roots. There isn't much. That's why I put a root there, but I've damaged it and I probably underwatered it, so I'm going to replace it. Now, on the other hand, here's the only root that I'm not going to replace. That was originally here because it looks like it's done okay. So we're going to leave that alone. Here's the other hellebore. Here's the other astilbe. I'll tell you, that astilbe looks really happy. I put it in a moist spot, and I think that was a good choice. All right. Other hellebore looks all right. I'm praying for that. I'd like to see that come in. Now there's the geranium. Look at that. This one is doing good. I'm surprised. It gets that angled light maybe. Here's the other toad lily. This one is a lot stringier and droopier because there's no light over here. It's the light, all right? Got a couple that are okay. It's not the watering at this point, it's the light. All right? So that's where we're at.